Look, what a great thrill. What an honour it is to have been asked to come and just spend some time with you guys here this afternoon. Like all of you, I've got a story to tell, be it a pretty simple one. I was born and raised on a family farm, dreamt and dreamt and dreamt of spending my life on the land, and I had it all planned. But I found out that partway through the plan that your life can change, and it can change in ways that you can never ever imagine. One afternoon, my whole life was shot down a completely different road than the one I was on. And I can tell you all, there were no signs beside that road saying wrong way, go back. There was no turning back. So what you find out is, and then what happens is once the dust eventually settles, this wonderful thing called life then basically puts a couple of options in front of you. The first and easiest one of the two is to throw the towel in, give up, moan and groan. Well, the second one and the hardest one of the two is to stand back up, pick up the pieces and soldier on. That's the decision I made. So can I just share parts of my story with you all here this afternoon, and I hope you can all take something away that may help you, and maybe your life doesn't quite go the way you thought it might. And maybe the story was also just a gentle reminder to you all that when you really do stop and think, we are also very, very bloody lucky to live in this great country. Alrighty, quick bit of history. As I said, I was born and raised on a family farm, a little place called Cropper Creek. Cropper Creek's a tiny village of 25, 30 people in northern New South Wales. And I suppose right from day one, the bush was in my blood, the dirt was under my fingernails. All I wanted to be was a farmer, just like my dad. Wherever he was, I was. He put his hands on his hips and posed for a photo, so did I. So the plan began. I got through my schooling. I then had a year out in a property in Western Queensland where I basically fell head over heels in love with the outback. So the following year I landed myself a job on a big cattle station up in the Northern Territory. Having a wow of a time. I had about 4 months up there. Anyway, I arrived at this particular weekend. It was a Sunday afternoon, there wasn't a lot going on. So three of the mates and I thought we'd bust the boredom of a Sunday afternoon by heading back into a little place called Ngunnawal for a beer. So I remember we assembled mid-afternoon, climbed into this car, shut the doors, drove out to the station, entrance road, turned right onto the Barclay Highway, and we set sail for Ngunnawal. But unfortunately we never made it. We got 15, 20 minutes down the road, we were flying. I said to them, geez, I hope I don't spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. So I guess you could say I was preparing myself pretty early on for what was about to become reality. I was flown from the crash site by the Royal Flying Doctor myself pretty early on for what was about to become reality. I was flown from the crash site by the Royal Flying Doctor to Mount Isa, where the diagnosis was initially made, and I think it was a pretty simple one. 3 or 4 little cuts on my left arm, a dislocated right hip, and a broken neck. I'd severed my spinal cord at the base of my neck, now leaving me a quadriplegic, which basically means I've got limited use of my arms and hands. I'm paralysed from here down. I have no movement at all from here down. I've got no sensation at all from here down. I've lost bowel and bladder control. I have a total inability now to be able to regulate my body temperature, and I've now only got about 45% of my lung capacity left. One of us in this room are going to be confronted with it. And as I said in the beginning, the easiest thing to do when hard luck strikes is to look back. Why me? Why us? It's not fair, no one understands, why don't I have a seatbelt on? You can go on forever. The hardest thing to do is to pick up the pieces and soldier on, because unfortunately, this wonderful thing called life doesn't stop to pick you up, prop you up, pat you on the back. You know, the sun goes down this afternoon, it's back up again tomorrow. I couldn't do anything, I had no way of getting around the farm, I had no car. So basically I was housebound. But the biggest thing of all now was learning to live my life on 4 wheels. No longer was Sam that 6 foot tall, bulletproof young bloke who was fiercely independent. No longer was Sam a big brother, guardian angel over a younger brother and sister. No longer now was Sam a gladiator. Instead now I had to use to people stopping and staring and looking at me and not knowing what to say. And Sam had to get used to asking for help. So in the course of, I don't know what it was, 3, 4 weeks arriving home from the spy unit, there I was, in the absolute prime of my life. with the horrible realisation now that my life was never going to be the way it was. My body from here down was never ever going to do what it once did, but was still going to come along for the ride and be absolutely no help to me. I realised that I had a massive, massive challenge ahead of me if I was going to try and make some sort of life for myself on the land. But I was never going to give up. There was no way I was going to let a bloody spinal cord injury get in the road of what I'd always wanted and what I'd always dreamt of. So with a Sydney Harbour full of determination and another one decided full of never ever give up or give in attitude, I rolled my sleeves up and set about to rebuild a badly broken life. I taught myself to get on and ride a full motorbike, which became my legs around the farm. I got my first car with hand controls, which got me back on the road and gave me some independence. I then converted all the farm machinery on the property and devised a little hoist to get myself up into the cabins of all the bits of gear that we had on the farm, so now I can partake in all the cropping activities. I then climbed my very own Mount Kosciuszko and learned to fly an ultralight aircraft, which became a very powerful symbol for me because it was something I could do that lots of other people couldn't. I travelled overseas. I really had got my life back to some normality and jumped all these hurdles. But I suppose I've got to be completely honest with you guys. Don't think every day in that rebuilding period was a good one, especially in those first 6 months. You know, I had days that just completely caved in on me, whether it was falling out of bed all the time trying to get dressed, falling out of my chair all the time trying to get used to my paralysis. I gave myself a 3rd-degree burn in the shower one night, which took months and months to heal. Again, trying to get used to no sensation. I remember spending days and days in bed jammed full of antibiotics trying to get rid of bladder infections. I had bowel accidents, which are terribly embarrassing. I could go on. But I had to get through those days, and 2 things that helped me get through those days into a better one. The first was laughter and humour. I found that if I could just laugh and crack a joke, that helped me enormously. And the other thing I devised, and I suppose it's a bit of an analogy to the bush, I suppose, it's what I call jumping the fence. And what I mean by that is when it all goes pear-shaped in your own paddock, or so you think, jump over the fence and into someone else's paddock for 20 or 30 seconds, that's all I had to be. I'd give some thought to the turmoil that was happening around the world at the present time. You know, the wars, the refugees, the poverty, the hunger, the families that lost loved ones in tragic accidents, the people battling terminal illnesses. There are millions and millions of people that swap you quicker than click your fingers. So what you very bloody quickly do is jump back over the fence and back into your paddock, and all of a sudden falling out of bed trying to get dressed, or a day or 2 in bed with a bladder infection just seems so bloody insignificant. The sun will go down and be back up again tomorrow, and away I go again. So as I said, I jumped all these hurdles and there was just one left in front of me to jump, and that was finding a girl to share this life that I'd rebuilt. I'd had 2 or 3 relationships through the years that never went anywhere. The girls would fall madly in love with Sam. But the following weekend, when they found out a bit more about his mate, quadriplegia, and its restrictions, they ran. And I was accepting of that. It made me realise not every girl was going to throw themselves in front of someone in a wheelchair. I was now in my 30s pretty well, and had more or less thought that maybe this journey was going to be a solo one. And if that's the way it was going to be, well, so be it. One of the great things about life is you never know what's around the corner. One afternoon the phone rang, and this bubbly, vivacious voice introduced herself as Jenny Black. She was a rural reporter with ABC Radio in Tamworth. She came up and did an interview with me, and to cut a long story short, we became great mates. We eventually fell madly in love with each other. Got to tell you, best thing that's ever happened to me. Finding someone I didn't know I'd have, someone to go on a holiday with, someone to share a sunset at the end of the day with. She really did come into my life and open every remaining door and gate that was left in front of me. Like all you girls, you can normally talk under wet cement with a mouthful of marbles. But the morning that I rang in and proposed to her live on her radio program, I had a stump just for a moment or 2. What an incredible morning that was. We were then married, and then I guess my dream really did come true. You know, I ride home to the farm at Cropper Creek, So what a strange story did for us was kickstart some public speaking. As you all know, there's only one thing worse than dying. That's public speaking. Initially it was locally, but literally for the last 15 years, Jan and I have been crisscrossing the country, just sharing our story with people from all walks of life. We lead this extraordinary life. 1 minute we can be in a capital city in a ritzy hotel talking to the top end of town. The next minute we're out in the middle of nowhere talking to a handful of people. We get to travel, we get to meet some incredible people, we give a bit, we get a lot back. Our story was then penned into a book called Head Over Heels, which was another incredible journey, which is so gratifying for me now knowing that not only a 20-minute presentation, but your whole story in a book and a few photos of what you do and how you do it can again give some hope. And probably one of the great surprises to come out of writing the book for Jan and I is the enormous impact that book now is having on kids. We're now getting more emails and feedback from, and when I say kids, from 7-year-old upwards that are reading it. So that's been a great thrill coming out of writing our story as well. My life, again, one night was shot down another road when a school teacher friend of mine rang to say, look, because the primary school teacher said, look, the kids are doing a subject on role models at the moment. A lot of the kids know you personally, most of them read your book. She said, I was just wondering whether you might come in and speak to them for 20 minutes. I'll tell you what, if you ever want to be daunted, go in and sit in front of 20 primary school kids and try and keep them under control for 20 minutes. Anyway, I did. I went in. I just thought, well, you've got to speak in their lingo. I did. And she came up at the end of it and she said, Sam, I've never seen 23 kids just sit there read to your story. We then went up to the high school. We got a similar result. So for the last 12 or 13 years, Jan and I have been, as we crisscross the country, been speaking to lots of schools as well. And unfortunately, Jan and I weren't able to have our own kids, but we now know why, because we've got a whole country of kids to get out there and inspire us. We're just trying to inject that resilience and that toughness and that appreciation of how lucky they are to be here, and ultimately a realisation that you can do anything if you want to, if you put your mind to it. The question I'm often asked, and I'm sure people ponder, is what's next? You know, what are you guys getting up to next? We're lots of goals. You know, we love our farm at Copper Creek. We'll keep pursuing the public speaking whenever we think we can make a difference to people's lives. We are writing another book, but I have got a goal, and it's certainly a pretty bloody big one. I'm going to be the first quadriplegic in the world to fly a helicopter. And there are three main reasons for doing it. The first is my love of flying and the freedom that it gives me. As you guys can probably imagine, for me to leave the earth and then look back down an empty wheelchair, I really can't put that into words. Secondly, I want to do it because I've had a number of people have told me that I can't. Oh, forget it, Sam. You'll never get a helicopter. You're playing around with flight control, Sam. There's no way you'll ever get a helicopter modified. And you've got to be like an octopus to fly a helicopter, Sam. And how are you going to get a medical, Sam? You cannot fly full stop without a medical. I mean, 80% of your body doesn't work, Sam. And how are you going to fund it, Sam? If you want to go for a fly, Sam, just get a helicopter pilot take you to fly. And Sam, mate, just can't be done. Pig's ass, it can't be done. So I've written all those blokes' names down a little notebook that I've got. They're in for a bit of a shock. But the third and main reason behind it all is, I was just telling you, you know, we get the wonderful privilege to be able to speak to lots of schools right around Australia, and I just thought, you know, how can I better my story? How can I show them that they're able, hop out, call the kids over, tell them my story, hop back in and fly off. And I just know an image that would stay with me for the rest of my life, and hopefully as you fly away, the kids can say, wow, if Sam can do what he's doing, I can do anything. We've been working at this now for 10.5 years. We're getting very close to fruition. The first school I'm flying into is a little Copper Creek primary school just down the road from where I went to school. It's our little local launch. And then our big launch is flying into Bondi Beach in Sydney, Bradford College. She helped write my book. She's just made my whole life. She's an absolute cracker of a girl. Would you please welcome her by my side? At this point in time, Jan normally says a few words and tells you a story or two that I probably wouldn't tell you, but that'll have to be next time. But I suppose it's time to bring this journey to an end. It has been a great thrill to be in front of you. Can I thank the Year 12 team that have put all this together? You've done a remarkable job. It's just been such a thrill to be invited and to partake in Dirrum 2017. We did bring a few copies of our book along. If any of you would like a signed copy, I think there's a table outside. Come and see us, or we'd love to just come and have a chat anyway. But I suppose just to close off, your life is what you make it. It doesn't get much simpler than that. And we are just all so very bloody lucky, as I said in the beginning, that we do live in this great country that does offer us all so much. Whether you're an able-bodied person or someone with some limitations, if you're prepared just to have a crack, the opportunities are just endless. Often used to wonder how my life might have ended up had I got to that pub that Sunday afternoon 30 years ago. Obviously I'll never know, but maybe I might have gone through life not realising that I did have an inner strength to not only pull myself through my own bit of bad luck, but then to go out and help others through theirs. And there's no doubt about it, I had a great life up until the age of 19. But I got an absolute bloody ripper now. I wouldn't trade places with anybody.